All right. See if I can get this can open on the live feed. Yeah, that sounded pretty good. Gonna go with the wild cherry zero sugar. Way better than the Coke variation. All right. I feel like my volume isn't the best. Like you have to turn it up a little bit for this video and then turn it back down for the next video. So I'll have to work on that. But I had some free time with no one in the house, so I wanted to try to do an immediate second video where I tried live streaming the very beginning of a process. So with my other live stream, I brought you in the middle where I'd already done the designs, and I was just on the more brainless coloring section. Here, this is a design that one of my other daughters really likes that I want to turn into a more finished t-shirt design like I did for the Uproar. Here we have my version of Code Red as a character. And so I'm going to start doodling some things out. So I like to doodle in color. And this just goes back to the things I'm comfortable with from my past. And then I like to sketch with a 6B pencil because it has a lot of give and it feels rough and sketchy. And so it reminds me that I really am not aiming for perfection. I just want to vomit out ideas. And so having a brush that visualizes that is a helpful reminder. All right, so I already have my sketch layer mapped out, named, and I have an idea. My idea right now is to have her have a huge wrench. I think that's been done before in some other like video game or something, but I really envision this character as like a submarine mechanic, which is why she kind of has these markings on her face. They're supposed to be like smudges from grease or something. And she's kind of turned it into war paint. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So let's try sketching that out. So I would have her, and having a 3/4 view is definitely more visually appealing than doing straight ahead like I did on this character or doing a profile. So I'm probably going to aim for a 3/4. So the reason why that is because you're only getting this much information from straight ahead, and you're getting this information from profile. But I'm getting a mixture of both in 3/4. So you're getting more visual information, which makes it visually the most complex and visually the most interesting. So harder to draw, but it gives us both perspectives at once. And that is just something to keep in mind to make your art more dynamic. Sorry, I keep on taking sips of my soda. All right, so how do I want her to hold her wrench? So I could just be like, oh, she's like kind of pointing this way. And maybe she's like in a walk, minding her own business, but something's catching her interest this other way. So she's looking over there. And then she has the wrench. So if the leg is pointed this way, then you want to pump the arm back, and she's, you know, kind of being passive, so it's not like it's angled back that much. And then we'd have this wrench, and it's hard because you want it to be able to see it. And I'm already kind of liking how huge this is, just because it kind of reminds me of a huge lollipop. And this character's supposed to be more playful and kid-like. That seems to make sense to me. My only concern with this first sketch is that it could make it hard to see the wrench because it's going to be blocked behind the character. So that's why I made it super massive, so that we could still maybe see the wrench back here. So it could work. But your first sketch is rarely your best. So it's good to not get sucked into that, and just kind of throw down an idea and then let your brain bounce off of that. So let's experiment with some other poses. So I have that, but I could have her more in like a Spider-Man pose. And she's like pulling out the wrench almost like a sword. Again, this would be hard to see unless I put the wrench part up here. So could be something like that. I mean, it's a decent pose, and it's a pose I've never really tried before, so I might have to look at a reference on how, like, a samurai ninja, like, pulls out their sword from behind their back. Kind of an awkward angle for the shoulder, but it's also kind of weird for, like, that makes sense for a sword, but I'm already going to have trouble selling this wrench idea. Um, and I want to potentially make the wrench ginormous, but that also makes it harder for them to actually hold it. So it's kind of more of a two-handed weapon. So let's try a different pose. Maybe being more casual instead of intense. Yeah, because that, you know what, now that I think about it, that one isn't very playful. It's a cool action pose, but what if I just have her kind of more like her original pose where she's kind of kicking back? Um, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. Like, I know I kind of want her resting both of her arms on the wrench and have that, like, line here. But I'm not quite sure how I'm going to have her, like, kind of standing next to it. Like, I kind of almost want her, like, on her heels, like, really relaxed, but that pose is not selling it. Hmm. Could do something similar, but have her, like, leaning against it. So leg. Hmm. I mean, I don't know. Would the wrench be more out here? Like, this one's interesting just because everything's a lot easier to read. There's some overlap, but it's a little more clear of a silhouette. But I don't know if I love it. Hmm. And the other design I had, the head, like back here, pointing this way, and then I have them falling. So I'm wondering if I should do something similar, with having her head in the background. I almost want to make her evil in the background, like super, like bratty, sinister. Like she's just looking straight at us. Maybe her eyes kind of down, um, kind of like eyes wide shut, Joker style, looking back up. So this could be like the background, just her face looking kind of manic. So if this is the face in the background, how is that going to inform the main full body pose? Right? So I'm liking this idea. Um, so how do I contrast that like evilness with something more go lucky? I feel like I don't know, maybe it's a little too much, but kind of am liking that idea. It's definitely catching in my brain, so I want to move forward with that a little bit. All right, so if I'm doing that, do I have? But also having a head above it doesn't always make sense. And the other one was profile, so it kind of made sense to have it be less of a focus but more detailed in the background. I don't know if I like this. I wonder what my daughter listed as one of her other favorite characters, because maybe I could just challenge myself by doing two different characters and have them interacting so that way I don't have to do a large one and a smaller version of the same character. So let me see if I can find my notes on that. Of course, I don't really have my phone organized, so I'm struggling to find my notes tab. There it is. Okay. So this daughter, her other favorites. Okay, yeah. Cake Smash, Flaming Hot. Wait. Oh no, that was another daughter. Okay, so this one is I have three girls, so I didn't have them listed. So hers was Code Red, Solar Flare, and Goji Berry. I'm trying to do characters that are more school appropriate, just so that they can actually potentially wear these shirts. So I'm thinking maybe I should um look up Solar Flare because she's kind of spunky too. And so let me save an image of her if I can find her. There she is. All right. So let's grab this, save her as a JPEG, just so it's easier to pull up as a reference. But yeah, I think this This might be better. Let's see. So you're already getting to see um, how you have to you can attach to an idea and then quickly let go of it, which I think is good because you want to do as many false starts as possible, have as many experiments as possible going. All right, so if I had both of them, what could I have them doing? They like acknowledging each other, or are they just on the same kind of like splash page? It will be harder to have them interacting. So I almost wonder if you do it like one character is like, ah. And I'm almost liking this falling idea that I had with the other one. So if I had one there and then, like, let's not make it complicated. Let's almost like make it yin and yang, even though that's not necessarily what these characters are. Because then I could just do something like this with the design. Oh yeah, I forgot they're on different layers. Can I still post or paste the other one? I can. All right, good. Let's put those together in the same group. And if I do it like this way, then I'm not favoring one over the other. Okay. I like that idea. I got to get this done before Christmas, so simple, but yeah, simple's good. But this also is challenging me to do a new pose for both these characters because I think both of them are looking straight ahead, so I think we'll do this. All right, so let's go ahead and minimize this. And then let's make these bigger. You're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, these stick figures are not the best. They at least have a shoulder line and a hip line to help convey the mass that I'm gonna have to add. Just trying to get this perfectly aligned, but I can't, and I don't know how to do that manually right now. Maybe someone can show me in chat sometime or in the comments. I'm like not the most technically proficient. All right. But the good thing is that we look at a stick figure and we go, okay, this is helping me map it out. Now I can go back in and add detail. So I'm all about juggling and just taking one step at a time. Because if you try to process too much at once, you're not doing yourself any favors. All right. Let's see. I think they'll like connect to each other by like. Well, should I have them like actually connect hands? That might be interesting. If they're like, okay, we're pals, and then they're actually interlocking, that might be a more pleasant design. Well, we'll see. All right. Right now, I'm just trying to draw Codret's general shapes. I'm going to type something in the chat just to see if it's working. Yeah. So even though it says start streaming a minute ago, I'm seeing the chat. And then I did notice there's like the chat in OBS. Okay, so it does pop up over there. Oh, that's really nice. So I don't even need the YouTube page up. Okay, that's really nice. Um, Something else I wanted to experiment with is listening to music because I don't necessarily want to have to deal with copyright and what you guys can listen to, but I like to listen to music while I draw. So let's see if I can play this and see if you guys hear it. So I'll make a copy of the YouTube link. And I have the OBS settings so that you guys don't. All right, I didn't talk because I wanted to see if the Yeti was picking it up. So let's see if we hear on here. All right, I didn't talk because I wanted to see if the Yeti was picking it up. Yeah, I don't hear it. All right, so I'm going to listen to some music. Again, this is just my second time testing it. Oh, wait a minute. But it's coming from my. It's not coming from my headphones, it's coming from the speaker. And I think the Yeti's just not picking it up because I have like a suppressor. So let's see. Hmm. All right, let's test this again. Hello? Hmm. Why can't I hear anything? So let me turn that back, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Well, at least you guys can hear me still, but I don't know if I can listen to music and play at the same time. So I apologize for that detour. Um, we'll just go without music for now. It's all an experiment. You're here for the homebrew experience. All right, so let's go back to trying this out. There has to be a way to listen to music though. Because good grief, what a dead experience. It kind of like what really, like, I know a lot of people don't have YouTube Premium, but I think it's so stupid that YouTube doesn't have a system to just link YouTube videos into your stream, and if it allows for it to be used in a stream, like it just automatically is approved, and if it's not approved, it's still approved if the viewer has YouTube Premium, just like the content person, because I have YouTube Premium. And so, like, I just feel like they should have a system to enable everyone in the stream to also listen to the same music as the person drawing or playing a video game or whatever they're doing. Um, if you all have premium. So I think that's an oversight, but maybe I'm just not aware of a solution with that. All right, so I redid the rib cage because she's supposed to be more petite, and I felt like my first sketch was a little more bulbous. Um, so I want to correct that. These are like very, very petite, thin characters. So I want to make sure I'm matching that as much as possible in these basic shapes. And some of this doesn't matter because the clothes are going to block it. But as you can see in my reference, like her arms are covering her waist air in midsection. So I'm kind of having to figure it out since I've never actually drawn it. I've only drawn this character twice. So this will be my third time. All right. So let's see. Kind of have to block it out. I like to draw very circular, but sometimes going a little Minecraft and blocking out everything makes it feel a little more doable, and it makes you remember to kind of think in 3D shapes. So I'm leaving enough room for the crotch, which kind of extends into the rear end. Again, not that you're going to necessarily see those things in the final, but it helps you map out the human form and make sure you're not cheating too much. Like her pants get really baggy, but she would otherwise be thin. So, maybe I'll change her clothing design. Like, who knows? Just gotta map that out. So, I couldn't get the music to work, but usually I listen to instrumental music. So I'll listen to some video game music, or I'll listen to movie soundtrack music when I'm in this stage because it's music I have memorized and it's kind of background music to the main action anyways. And that main action originally was the movie or the video game, but for me it's the act of creating and drawing. So it kind of sparks my motivation to really push myself and dig deep, but it doesn't distract me. It just pushes me forward. And then when I'm past this part that takes a lot more focus and brain power, then I'll switch to a podcast or music with lyrics that I care about once I'm past the building process. I want her to be thin and kind of dangly, but I don't want her to be bony. So I felt like I needed to adjust that. I'm gonna move the arm up here because I feel like it's more yay me versus just like this is casual. This is a little more expressive having it go up, and I have the room, so why have it come down here and repeat the leg? That makes less sense. Okay. Sometimes I'll start with the head and work myself down, but in this case, since I had the general poses figured out, I wanted to start with the body and come back to the head. All right, so I have drawn this character from a 3/4, so I feel like I should switch to that for now. Sometimes I can't get the reference to repop up with this, so I want to import and go to this. So this is the only other time I've drawn this character. So I'm looking at this to kind of just help remind me of the 3/4 angle so I don't have to really think about it a ton. It would be nice to kind of have her neck up, but gotta be careful with that because the face is kind of mask like, so you gotta be careful with how you're showing the bottom part of the chin. Again, I'm having to fight the urge to draw it in one go and really try to map it out right. And the trick here is you don't want to make the head too big. It's kind of like chubby, and so you can easily make it too large. But that's okay with Procreate because you can just shrink it down. And I'll check the eyes with the other drawing just because, again, I drew all these characters' eyes slightly different. Like they have different angles and shape. And I want to make sure I'm staying pretty accurate to that because the eyes are really important to the character, making them feel distinctly themselves. That's the problem with like more traditional, like Japanese style, like anime is it's detailed, but the characters can look all very much the same. And I don't completely escape that, that's for sure. I'm still, you know, practicing. But it's something I've really worked to try to overcome is make sure my designs have enough personal voice that when you see a character, you're like, oh yeah, that's blah blah blah's face. That's blah blah blah's silhouette. But when you're drawing 50 plus characters to represent all this like Mountain Dew flavors in 6 months, there's going to be some repetition and there's going to be some that are more appealing than others because some of my ideas are, kind of deadish. Not every hit is a home run. And that's okay. There's definitely some designs I want to go back to and fix. But these are two characters I was pretty happy with, so I'm glad that my daughters picked these ones because I feel like they're ones that if I see in a few years and they don't change that much, or if even if they do change, like I'm pretty like happy with these first drafts of these characters, even if they might morph as we go on. So on this basic shape um, form, some things like the eyelashes and stuff are still staying in almost like a stick figure form where I'm not really adding mass to them. They're just lines because I'm just trying to get it mapped out. Right now I'm thinking like, okay, like to make her more happy, I might want to have that lower eyelid puffing up to make her look more gleeful. So I'm going to go back and try to indicate that a little better. They're kind of just like floating there. Like, I don't think they're really lying down. I think they're just like in space. So I just don't want to make the hair too floaty. I'm going to make a new layer for the hair, change the color because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to deal with it if I mess up because hair, I do tend to play around with more. So put it on its own layer so you have more editing control. And it starts to flow over and overlap onto facial elements. So yeah, having it on its own layers, a good call. I just want her hair flying in the air. So let's draw the shape of the hair. So you treat hair as mass, not strands. You just indicate a hint of strands on the ends. So I'm doing a little more than my reference because I do want it to look like it's kind of floating. I want to get to that hat, but I have to keep on telling myself, no, no hat. Figure out the hair first. don't want the back of the head to look as floaty. So our head doesn't look like too huge. And to really sell this, I need to also make sure the ponytails are moving around. So those should be more up too. But this other ponytail I want to be visible. So maybe I'll do like one up and one down. Just going all over the place. Wait till I get to the happy trees, then you'll really lose your mind. Holy moly. Okay. The ponytails are very massive, so I think I got the general size there. All right, let's try that hat. I'm a little scared about the hat now because I want it to be still kind of there but floating. Yeah, I don't know if that works in that space. Like I want it to feel like it's kind of floating off. So I was thinking have it at a tilt, but maybe I'm just gonna have it like in a very cartoony way, just hovering. But that might look weird. Let's see. Maybe if I have the bill like kind of going upwards. Yeah, to kind of give it like a sway. Yeah, that looks nice. I mean, if I was animating this, would be a fun little stretch. So, I don't know. I think that might work. Did I do it on its own layer, though? Yeah, let's see. Let's try that. Like there, it's overlapping enough that it's connected to the character, but it's not ruining the silhouette. So that might be good. We'll see. I can move it around. All right, so we have the basics of that character mapped out decently. Took my last sip of my wild cherry. My wild cherry. All right, let's start some new layer groups. So let's put all these into a group. And then let's go to the other character. Solar Flare. Wait, what? Oh, I accidentally tried to save. My bad. My bad. Alright, let's open up. Import. Shana. Alright. Let's go to this character. And I got a new layer. Good, good, good. Let's go to a warmer color so it stands out from the blue stick figure. And I feel like I do need to move this stick figure a little bit to match this. We'll see. All right. You know what? I want it more of like a... Yeah, let's do more of an orange color. I just want it to stand out from the pink of the other character. All right. Now, they're the same pose, and I could do that. But we'll see. Maybe I'll try to change it a little bit. Like maybe I'll have this hand more down than the other one. We'll see. Kind of a scrawny character too. See how many times I draw that circle? It's like I wanted to move the shoulder in and I just kept on drawing it instead. And let's... Just don't want to overthink this, but part of me is like, how can I change it? How can I change it? What is this? Oh, okay. I drew like the other, like Solar Flare's arm in that, but now I want to get rid of that because I don't need it there. It's getting in the way. I think I made this character even skinnier, like crazy skinny. And you know, these are cartoon characters, so have fun, do fun stuff. Have some students that like to point out, like, make your characters too skinny, which is, you know, fair enough. But then another part is like, have you seen Sleeping Beauty? Her like waist is 2 inches, and it works just because it's a cartoon. It's playful. You can do a lot of stuff if you play with the shapes that just, you know, wouldn't work in something more realistic. Ugh, I'm really struggling because part of me is like, for the symmetry, I should keep the same pose, and then another part of me is like, change it. And I do have to remember this character has a skirt, so I need to make sure that is kosher. How could I make that work? Would it be better? Something like this, I'm wondering. Yeah, except I want to pull it in. I don't want that like sense of gap because then I'm like just worried what that's gonna look like. So if I have like not her legs having that gap, might just look a little better. I don't want it to look like she's standing, so let's still put the foot up. All right, yeah, that makes her different. And I think it's more responsive to her outfit, so I think that's good. And then over here, I think I'm gonna make her have more of like a kind of fighter grip still, just kind of like her original. So feisty. Let's see. And you don't want these tangents where they're like barely touching, so that's what I'm adjusting right now. All right, I'm liking that. Like, I feel like they are connected. My headphones just beeped on me. I have it connected, so they should be powered. So I'm gonna check YouTube, make sure you guys can still hear me. Otherwise, it's pointless to keep going. So give me a second. I'm gonna try to pull that back up because I closed my window when I was giving up on getting to listen to music. All right, so let's go into the character's face. I'm just checking YouTube really quick. Okay, so let's go into. Yeah, it's still going. All right, I'm gonna keep this up just to make sure. I'm paranoid that I'm gonna be talking and it's not actually running. It's like, okay, I'm losing my mind. All right, I do want this orange is really hard to see with the white, so I'm going to change this to like a darker color so it's just easier for me to see later on. I think of all my characters, this one reminds me the most of like a Pokemon trainer. All right, I think I do want her. I like this idea of her being like more hunched. I kind of feel that. Even though I like long necks, like having her kind of tucking in just seems appropriate. I talked about that 3/4. I'm going to do a more mild 3/4 in this one. Almost looking straight at us. You see how her face is more square and jawed compared to the other one that's more rounded. It's that like subtle change that makes the characters look different. All right, I'm getting a text by a nice person that's asked me if I want these nuts at Costco because I said I couldn't find them. Because Costco used to have these like holiday um, honey roast peanuts, and they don't have them this year. It's made me sad. So I'm just gonna text her back. My phone will actually work. Am I not supposed to text while I'm live streaming? Oops. All right. Set a very quick text because I want to keep on drawing. Um, I've only drawn this character once, so it's like interesting going back and be like, oh, what did I do here? Kind of try to decipher that stuff again. It's the first time you're having to figure it out, and now you have like a template. But sometimes the way you draw it will change if you're not careful, and sometimes that's a good thing. Like sometimes the changes make it better, but don't want to go too rogue. So I want to make sure those line up, they're the same height. Something I accidentally do is I'll do one eye bigger than the other because it's like going away, but that's technically usually wrong unless you want it to look like super cartoony. Yeah, my headphones are beeping again. Which is annoying. All right. Somehow I like paused my live stream and then it got confused. But yeah, I have these stupid Sony headphones, like PlayStation Platinums, and they beep at me like they're turning off or turning on, and it's like, wait, what? What's going on? I need to make sure she's kind of looking down so she's actually like looking at the other character. Do the puffed up bottom eyelids. She's such a fierce looking character. I kind of like want to make her feel a little more warm, like close her eyelids down a little bit, like she's being softer. But still intense. And she has a ton of eyelashes. I was trying to. Her name's Solar Flare, and so I was trying to like think of how to visually incorporate the sun, like almost like her lashes are rays of sunshine. Solar Flare was a 7-Eleven exclusive for a few years. Just from the fountain, you could only get it at the fountain a lot. But now it's been repurposed into Southern Shock, exact same drink. So I was able to have Southern Shock at Bojangles chicken fast food restaurant in an airport, and it was nice to taste the Solar Flare again because we don't have Bojangles out here in Colorado. All right, now I need to think. Well, yeah, let's really actually try to finish the hunched over kind of look. Trying to measure out her neck, what's going to make sense. Made the mistake of texting this friend back. It's my wife's friend, and now it's like turned into a texting storm. So, my bad. All right. All right, let's zoom out so I can see the hair. Yeah, it looks like she's looking at her a little bit. We need to finish the eyes a little bit so it sells it. Can you guys see that now? Amazing how they come to life when you just detail the eye a little bit. Get the Princess Leia buns. This will be hard because you need to like kind of make it a little more 3D when it's at a slight 3/4, but not to get in the way of the face or oversell it. So this I'm gonna have to mess around with a little bit. And again, I want to make it look like she's floating too, so I'm gonna have to mess with the hair a little bit. Hmm. Like her hair does this weird, like almost like George Washington wave thing on the sides, and I'm not sure how to do that at a 3/4 without it looking like totally weird, especially when I'm trying to make it look flowy. But I think that's defined enough. All right. Well, I think I want to listen to some music, guys. So until you guys can tell me how to figure that out, I think I'm gonna log off because I don't want this to be too long. But this way, you guys got to see the beginning process. I went into this just knowing that I wanted to do code red, and and it you got to kind of see it morph. So we started with this. If I can get it up, yeah. Had one idea, and it totally changed. So that's the power of doing thumbnail sketches, quick 1 minute or less. Some things I was drawing in like 20, 30 seconds, talking it out loud. And then I decided to do something totally different. So I think sometimes we, as artists slash creative people, will get over those blocks, whether it's writing block or art blocks, when we don't skip this process. Because I could have gone with this wrench idea and done something decent, but I could have gotten stuck without this exploration, because I could have spent like 40 minutes and been like, oh, this pose is not that great. And I was able to get through that process in a couple of minutes, by going through this sketching process first. And I don't always do this, but it's generally a good idea to save time and to feel more confident with your end result. So definitely suggest using that. And so I'm going to go in now and detail these characters. So we're at the basic shapes. And now I have to do one more planning layer in like a different color. I might make these layers a little lighter. So I'll go in and like make this like just a little bit lighter, potentially. We'll see. But I need to just figure out their clothes on both the characters. And then once I figure out the clothes and sketch that in, then I'll go into the final line art. And I don't have to have everything detailed because I've already planned these characters out previously. So I'll just do like a rough in on the clothes. It'll probably take me like another 30 minutes maybe. And then it'll take me another hour plus to get them inked. So I'd probably say like 30 minutes on each character if I power through listening to some music, and then I'll be into color. So let me know if you guys want to see the final posted up. But I've been doing these speed playbacks with Procreate that I've been posting in the previous weeks. But this is me drawing in real time, right? So you're getting to see the moments where I'm playing with my music, I'm taking sips of soda. That doesn't get recorded into Procreate, so it does slow down a little bit when you bring in those considerations in real time. But hopefully you enjoyed this process. Hopefully I talked enough to kind of help you understand the thought process that's going on while you're building. It's not something that just spontaneously comes out of nowhere. That element is really just based off the fact that I've practiced, and so I can visualize things that I've tried before, and that's really speaking to lines and volume and how things overlap in structure based on this idea of things being three-dimensional. But otherwise, I'm having to really like critique and edit every step as I go. And because I've been doing it for a decent amount of time, I can skip some of that editing because I know what I want. But because I don't draw professionally, and I'm an amateur, I just do this for fun. Like, I definitely have a lot to learn. But because I have like a sense of what I enjoy and what you could consider like good taste from my perspective, I'm able to draw a line and say, "Oh, this is working," or "No, I don't like this. It just doesn't have that design sense I want." And so I go back and edit that. And so part of becoming a more proficient artist is gaining that eye for and understanding why you like something. And if you can work on that, even not as an artist, if you do decide to start drawing, you'll have that built-in skill of being able to actually self-edit and critique and then make those changes as you go and not wait for someone else to point it out to you. So I'll make changes. I don't really like parts of her hair, and so I have time to change that because I'm doing this in layers and I'm doing it, step by step. So I still have room to edit and fix things. But I think this will be a fun design. I'm almost wondering if I should like do this design this way on like the front of the shirt, and then on the back you like reverse it. That might be fun. Or do I do it like this? And then I need to think about the background. So let me know what you guys are liking. I mean, it is a work in progress. So if you can comment in the next day or two, I might actually be able to see your comments and maybe incorporate some changes. Uh, and yeah, let me know if you want to see the final posted on here, and I can do that. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out. Hope you have a good holiday coming up, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care.